This is my review for the Hanimex 35HS. So I got the Hanimex at an estate sale this past summer. There was an old photography shop in Ditmas Park, Brooklyn that had been closed for a few years, but everything was left in it. And I also made a little mini doc about that story, and you should definitely watch. I'll put the link below. But basically, it was an old camera shop that had, just decades of old cameras and old lenses left inside. And basically, I came across this box full of these Hanimex cameras, still in the original packaging, in the original box, right from the mid-'80s. And I was planning to buy the entire box, but I quickly realized that I didn't need to buy 50 of these. So I talked to the guy who purchased the entire box, and I bought 2 from him. So I own 2 of these now. And up until that point, it had been over 20 years since I've used a film camera, not since like the mid-'90s with probably my mom's camera. I was super excited to use this camera and maybe to, get my feet wet with film again. Recently, I also bought the Kodak Ektar 35 camera, that little $50 half frame camera. So between this and that other camera, I've slowly gotten into film. But basically with this camera, I used the Fuji Extra 400 film, and I thought that gave really great color. It gave a great nostalgic vibe. I did notice that on the outside of the frame that the pictures were a little blurry and not, in focus, but I think that's because the lens on this camera is made of plastic, and that's one of the biggest critiques that I've read about this online, is that the lens is basically made of cheap plastic, so the images aren't going to be overly sharp, and I think that adds to the character of what the final images will look like out of this. When I first used this camera, I took it on my first vacation this past summer, and I realized that I didn't put the film in right, so none of the pictures turned out. But on my second vacation to London, the pictures finally turned out, and I was really happy to have this camera along. It's super lightweight and it's not that big, so it doesn't take up a lot of space in your bags. And I think this is just a good camera to have to capture, some candid memories, some landscapes, and just, it just captures a different vibe and experience of whatever you decide to take pictures of. It's extremely different from your digital camera or from your smartphone. So I think this is just a good addition to have to whatever camera that you're currently using. And I also love the design of this camera. I love the black and red. I love the little red button on top. It reminds me of like, a Canon or something like that. And it looks, I don't know, I think it looks kind of cool. It looks, pretty retro. And this camera has 3 features, and I'm not sure if it's like an ND, but it basically has full sun, overcast, and I guess use it with a flash. And it has a hot shoe for a flash, but I can't imagine what flash I would use with this camera, but it does have those cool features in it if that's something you're into. All in all, if you're looking to buy the Hanimex 35HS, I say totally do it. If you're looking online and you find one, definitely purchase it. I wouldn't spend over $50 to get one. It's not that great of a camera, but I think it's a fun camera to have. So if you can find one on the cheap, definitely purchase it. Owning a camera like this is a great way just to keep your creativity moving. A lot of times we get bored and stale with our smartphones and with our digital SLRs or whatever you're using, but I think this is a great way to mix it up. I hate tech reviews, I hate camera reviews. I'm not a YouTuber, but I thought this camera was a good reason for me to make a camera review. If you've taken pictures with the Hanimex 35HS, please drop those links in the comments below. I would love to take a look at them, and keep the love going for this camera.